Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, where we in the last episode just got our iron smelting up and running, and with iron pickups and drop-offs pretty much running as intended. In today's episode we will work on doing the final iteration of our unloading station to make it usable for the future. And if we have time, we will start to maybe build what's it called, our green circuit factory. But we'll see how it goes. So if you think that's a good plan, do remember to like the video. And if new to the channel, do remember to subscribe as well. And as always, do remember that on Discord you can get all the blueprints I'm making here. I will try to keep an updated book there so we can, so you can grab it and use it in your own world. And with that, let's get on with today's episode. So after the end of last episode, I was looking at this and I was not too pleased about it. A few of the reasons are the way this is going out will give us 8 lanes. It's too much. Because if you know what I talked about a few episodes ago, one of these stack inserters running at max speed when fully upgraded can supply about 13.85 items per second. That means it takes about 3 of these to fill, a bit more than 3 to fill 1 blue belt. Having that in mind, what I want to do is instead of having 8 belts going out, I just want 4 belts going out. That means we'll have maximum compression when it's running full speed. But of course we will lose a small amount of throughput, but 4 lanes is more than enough throughput for what I have planned for each of these train drops, since we actually have 8. And with 8 we can do 32 fully compressed blue belts, and that is more than enough. So let's redesign this a small amount. I think that will be the best. But before we do that, let's just make sure that this doesn't request any iron trains while I'm designing it. So let's just set you to manual. Because that way, if we empty this for with iron, we won't have too many issues. So as you see right now, it is somewhat balanced, but not quite. So let's get things flowing. Firstly, can we? No, we'll just empty it out and put it in the chest next to it while we design, and then we'll add it back in. Let's take you over here. This is also why you do the design before you fill it with items, otherwise you run into this issue, where you have to empty things out. But this will just add into this setup later when we have enough room. Let's do you up here and you there. So now we have empty belts to work with, or close to empty belts at least, and that will enable us to set this up. Let's just empty out these 2 as well. There we are, and the same over here. So instead of 8 belts going out, I want 4 belts going out, as we discussed. So we still want the same setup here, but we'll do a bit of a change on these. And let's start with the bottom one. So the way I want to do it is that if we just do a normal 4-lane balancer, if you look here, this one, we'll get into an issue that's called if it pulls unevenly from the belt, so taking more from the right or the left side, we'll load or unload this unevenly, and that is something we don't want. So to prevent that, I have went and got myself a little blueprint that can solve it. Lane balancers, because we have blue belt balancers, but we have lane balancers as well, which enables us to balance both sides of the inputs as well. So if only pulls from the right or the left, you'll still take evenly from right and left on the input side. So let's place that down here. That is kind of where I want it. And I'll explain why in just a second. So let's take you away. We only want one going from up here as well. Let's take this one out. And this one out as well. Take you out, so we only have one going back here. Could in theory have maybe both going this way, but depending on how much space we have, we might maybe have to redesign it. So the way I want to hook it up is do something like this. Having these two go into one. Having one go out this way and in. Because that will take 4 inserters. That supplies about 56 items per second. This takes 45, so that's over compressed, and that is fine. We'll then do the same over here. Having you two going in as well. Getting it out this way. And then to make it a bit compressed, let's do something like this. Get it down. We can in theory move this one to the left here instead. Then have you taking the second one. And I'll show you why I do it on this side. It's pretty much the safe belts. So that will give us 2 fully compressed belts going from up here. 1, 2. Looking very nice. Giving us 2 fully compressed out. Then we need to do the same down here. That means could do one here. But that means we'll have to move this over 1. But that is fine. So let's just shift you over. You'll go to there instead, and you'll jump 1 further to there. And go down this way to make room for everything we need. You'll go in. These 2. We'll have you going out. We will have this one going out as well. We'll have you going down this way. And then we'll have the one from over here going out somewhat the same. This way and down a few. And go out something like that. So that leaves room for everything we need. The reason why we couldn't move it one to the left was that we'll run into issues then. In terms of getting the space we need. I kind of want to do that as that looks a bit better. Giving us the 4 lines out. So now that we have this set up, then the next thing we need is hook up the balancer we need. So the balancer I want is this one. Of what's called a 4-to-4 lane balancer, where it pulls evenly from both sides. Let's just get it built. And it fits in nicely because I don't want it to go into this area down here right now, as we need the space to build. So something like this will pretty much be our setup. And now we can pull evenly. I can do a quick test even to show you what I mean. So if you take some iron, just throwing it, take some here and some there. I think that's gonna illustrate our issue, our thing. This will go down. As you can see, it goes evenly out on both sides of the belt, as we want. What we don't want, as soon as this is filled up, is that we don't want it to pull unevenly. Let's add in a bit more so these 2, so you can see the issue. A few more. That'll be fine. As you can see, now we have this backed up. If by normal inserter or normal splitter, you take from one side, it will take from one side up here. But since we made it like this, we can just pull from one side of the belt, and you can see it still sticks from all 4. That means 2.5, 2.5, 2.1. And it keeps pulling the same rate, even though we only take from one side. Same if we take 2, 4. They'll all take from all of them evenly. And that is exactly what we want, so we don't have our train station jamming up. So let's get, what's it called? Or our copper set up as well. Let's just pull all of this out of the belt for now. very easily. Thank you. And then use the same blueprint over here, because that is also quite important for how we want the items to flow into our belt. So let's start by disabling our train as well, or our cupboard, so it doesn't go over here while we fix it. And let's dismantle everything here, because we don't want... I'll just pick it up by hand, probably the easiest. Let's just get all of you cleared out. Then we will empty out you afterwards. So I want to mirror this a bit. So if we take the blueprint over here, and what we want is it's pretty much just going the opposite way. So if we're lucky, I haven't tested this, but if you take that, take out all of the train tracks, take out the inserters as well, the combinators, you. Also the train stop is not needed, the power poles are maybe needed, should be able to mix correctly. And it should be fine as well. So we take something like this, and then we flip it this way. Line it up right here. And say, this is how I want you to output on this side. Go my minions. There we are. We'll have to empty this out in just a minute. But as you can see now, we will have all of these outputting and then evenly pull. And it might actually be easier to show here. Just as on the iron. If you take one side, you see all of these will output items at an even rate. So it will never jam up no matter how we pull items from it. So now that we have this setup going, which is very, very nice, we can then take it into the middle and down in between here. Because what I want to do is make our production lines take items from in here, go out to the side, and then input into trains on both sides. I think that'll be the coolest way to do it. At least that is how I want to design it. So let's just fix this one before we go. And remember to fix these so it actually can hook up power without any extra things. For example, this one. So I want you to actually give us another power pole, maybe, could be right here. Because then this one will always be used. For example, if we take this now, we can go into the map view. It can fit in very nicely right here. All the power hooked up, but it can't be used on that one. For that, we'll have to take this one instead. Saying that you will fit in here. Because that way we have a blueprint that works wherever we want them. So this will be our loading and unloading blueprints. Let's just make a copy of them and add them to the blueprint book, which you guys can get by going on to our Discord. Let's get that. We don't need to grab this part, it's not needed, that will fit in. And the names are fine, we'll just change. So let's save you. You'll be, you know, loading. Should we call it 1? Let's save that into the blueprint book. Then we'll take train unloading 2 from over here. Take that away. We don't need you either. This is fine. 2. We could, in theory, keep some of these to make sure it lines up correctly. You can just click them again. And then we know it fits in. So as you can see, it won't fit over here because we know that's wrong now, but we know it fits here. And add it into our blueprint book. And where did it go? Did it not get saved? might have messed that up somehow. So we'll just make it yet again. Take you with this corner. We need to have all of you up there. Let's just take that. Train unloading 2. Great blueprints. Add it in here. Then we'll do another one of these ones to make sure we get it correct. So you can take your way. Because I want to make sure that we can't mess this up in the future. That looks pretty good with these 2. Train unloading 1. And you can go in here. So now we have that. One other thing I'll add to this one. Well, it's not needed because we already have the balancers on these. Was to add the balancer, but that's fine. So this will pretty much be how we'll do the unloading. Because then we can go down the middle. I know we have to go around this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a bit in the middle where I can jump across. And we can do something like this. But we have enough. We could in theory incorporate all of this into the blueprint as well. Look how nice everything is pulling from over here. Let's do the same over this way. Hooking you up. There, there, and there. That will give us everything we want flowing in. And before we request new trains, we just want to empty all of this out. I think that would be the best. And look how beautiful that looks. We'll just add the iron back into here and activate the trains after we set up our new system. There's actually no reason to take it out, or pretty much no reason to take it out. Let's just do this to get it looking nicely. And as you can see, it's all filling up extremely well down the line. You can have some, and you can have some. And you can get the copper over here, so I don't have it in my inventory. So I think this is a great place to end this episode. I know it's a bit of a shorter episode, but I want to get these stations done. So so hopefully you'll comment what you think about this setup, about the plan of getting it in through the middle here, and make it just work. Grabbing what we need, and that is why I want the thing in the middle so I can jump across. And hopefully this is a small main bus going in with things on the outside. And loading stations, we already made those before, pretty much up here. Those can easily balance in because we will always pull evenly from this, so there's no issues like this one. So yeah, like I said, do comment what you think about this, and jump on Discord if you want the blueprints. I think that'll be very cool. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Do remember to like the video and subscribe if you're new to our channel. And with that, I've been Dgray, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.